Pretty iconic spot on the Appalachian Trail. Pretty iconic spot on planet Earth, if you ask me. Good morning, friends, and welcome to day 28. I don't think I wrapped up day 27 again. I'm so bad at that. I'm tired and lazy and absent-minded, and so sorry about that. But I am back at Newfound Gap. Thanks to this channel and my daughter's help, I connected with an old friend, Paul. Wise Guy was his trail name when he thru-hiked in 2012, but an old friend from Nashville who now lives in Pigeon Forge. A true trail blessing, because we connected yesterday. I was gonna forge on through Newfound Gap down to the next shelter, and Wise Guy said, "Oh, no, you don't. You're going to come spend a night with me here in Pigeon Forge in his beautiful cabin in the mountains." So thank you, Wise Guy, for the nice dinner and the nice breakfast and the great catching up on old times. But in any case, I'm back here at Newfound Gap, taking off for the day. 10.5 miles, I think, to Pecks Corner Shelter is my goal. I'm specifically doing this right here today because of this. I believe my wife and I took this exact picture 3 years ago when we came to day hike here. We parked at Newfound Gap and hiked up to Charlie's Bunion, and had lunch at the first shelter, Silas. I forget what it's called. But she and I have hiked this stretch, so it'll be kind of a fun stretch to re-hike. So I thought I would start the day and take that little picture there. So that's my morning. I'm well rested, clean clothes, I'm showered, great breakfast this morning thanks to Wise Guy, and I'm on the way down the trail. So we'll see you on down the trail. Good morning again, friends. It's about 10:30 on day 28. I am meandering down a beautiful, beautiful section of the trail. This is what I was longing for my first 3 days in the Smokies. The views aren't great because there's a lot of trees and it's cloudy, but the forest is beautiful and the trail is beautiful. I am on top of Mount Ambler right now, and I am coming down to, I'm about a 10th mile from, I don't know why I cannot remember the name of this shelter. Silver Springs Shelter, something. It's the shelter that's just a couple of miles, 3 miles actually, north of Newfound Gap. Got a little bit of ice here. I'm gonna tread lightly here. I may go down hard, trying to video at the same time. Most of this ice is not any longer, I'm gonna say this and then fall, the sheer sheets of ice. This has been walked on and there's mud and rocks, so the traction's pretty good. So far, my 3.5 days in the Smokies have only had really one section of bad ice, and that was right after Kawohe, right after the former Klingman's Dome. About a 1/4 mile later, there was about 150 or 200 yard stretch of trail, kind of like the distance you're seeing right here in the video, that was in fact sheets of smooth, clear ice. And it would have been a section to pull out my crampons and have a little extra traction, But fortunately, there was enough, you know, this kind of stuff on the sides here, like right there and right there, where you can see lots of people have walked to avoid ice and snow. So, and it was only about 150 yards. So anyway, just thought I would share this little piece of trail here with you on top of Ambler Mountain, coming into that Icewater Spring. That's what it's called, Icewater Spring Shelter. I don't know why that just jumped into my mind. Which is interesting. I think I mentioned this before, but my wife and I had lunch there when we were up here for a day hike a few years ago. So I'll probably take a picture. It'll be kind of a funny shelter to walk by. All right, I'm gonna keep on trucking here, making good time this morning. There was supposed to be rain until 1 or 2 this afternoon. It appears to have stopped. I'm still wearing my rain gear, but maybe at Icewater Spring Shelter I'll take it off. Of course, as soon as I do, it's gonna start raining again. But anyway, we'll see you on down the trail. 60 Years of Gratitude, 1975.
Time in New England took me away to long rocky beaches. I gave you love. I thought that we had made it to the top. I gave you all I had to give. Love you, pretty baby. Who's gonna help you through the night? Love you, pretty mama. Who's always there to make it. Show me a sign and take it to the limit one more time. When you let me in, I wanna be your friend. I wanna guard your dreams and visions. Just wrap your legs around these velvet rims and strap your hands across my engines.
Okay, 60 Years of Gratitude, 1975. I'm sitting in a super iconic spot on the Appalachian Trail called Charlie's Bunion, which I'm going to show you all in just a minute. But I thought, what a spectacular place to do today's 60 Years of Gratitude. And I've been waiting for 1975 and since I started this. Obviously, if you've been watching all of them, you know I kind of fumbled through those early years when I was so young that it's kind of hard to have a lot of gratitude when you're 2. But 1975, I was 9 years old, and I went into 4th grade at Pettingill School, and I am going to mention another teacher, but this teacher is different. I'm going to try not to get emotional here. My 4th grade teacher was Mr. Albert, Brian Albert, a teacher that had a profound impact on my life. Of course, I didn't know it, really, in 4th grade. In 4th grade, Mr. Albert was just a great teacher. He connected with students. I just remember loving that year. We were in the basement of Pettingill School, so somehow that felt like we were the big kids now. But he was just a great teacher. And I learned a few lessons from him, or learned a few things from him that didn't really click until much later in my life. One of them was when you were in Mr. Albert's class, everybody knew this. Every spring, there was a field day for his class. It was only his class. It wasn't the school. And the field day was a trip for the whole class, a whole day out of school, over at Bates College, which was not far away, 15-minute walk from the school. And when that day came in the spring, the whole class went out and did what you do on field days, 3-legged races and all sorts of races and contests and goofing around on one of the big fields at Bates College. And it was really just a big, active, fun, outdoor day. And at the end of the field day, the class walked from Bates College across the street to a little convenience store called John's Place. That's what it was called back then, John's Place. And we all got ice cream. Everybody got to pick out, an ice cream sandwich or something at the end of the field day. And then walked back to school, and that was the end of the day. And it wasn't until years later that, of course, I connected the dots and realized that Mr. Albert did this on his own. It was not part of the school curriculum. Not every class got to do it. He decided that it was just a good way to get everybody outside and active and doing something fun. And then more importantly, I realized years later that this was not a budgeted item. He funded this out of his pocket. Now, it's not a lot of money, 25 or 30 ice cream sandwiches or something like that. And every teacher out there watching this is sort of going to nod and roll their eyes and say that's what teachers do. And I know that. I know that now. But looking back on that year, my 4th grade year, and what I learned and what Mr. Albert taught us, he was strict. He was a strict teacher, but connected with us. And then making these small connections to someone who went out of his way to do fun things like field days and fund ice cream out of his own pocket just because it was the right thing to do, left a really big impression on me throughout my whole life. And actually, 3 or 4 years ago, he lived right around the corner from my neighborhood. And when I'm back in Lewiston every summer, I always drive through Lewiston and look around. And I always drive by his house and look and wonder if he still lives there. And 3 or 4 years ago, I drove by and he was mowing his lawn. And it was really, really terrific to just pull over and call his name. He always wanted me to call him Brian, but I used to always say, I could hear my mother in my ear saying, he's Mr. Albert. So I still call him Mr. Albert to this day. But that was great, catching up with him then and sharing with him how important he was in my life as my 4th grade teacher. So that's my gratitude for 1975. Mr. Albert, I hope you're out there watching. If not, I hope somebody in Lewiston can get the word to you, or I'll find a way to get it to you, but I hope you get to see this. So I can, at least in this video, thank you and show my gratitude. All right, see you on down the trail. I'm just gonna let you all enjoy. This is Charlie's Bunion. Pretty iconic spot on the Appalachian Trail. Pretty iconic spot on planet Earth, if you ask me. Now, it's a bit of a cloudy day, so the views, long distance views, aren't great, but unbelievable. My wife and I came out here 3 years ago for a day hike, 4 years ago now, for a day hike. And a group of 8 or 10 or 12 high school kids came out onto these rocks, which are the vista of all vistas, and decided to have their lunch out here for about an hour and wouldn't move. So we stood back a little bit, but still got an amazing, amazing view. And if my daughter Becca were here, I know exactly where she'd be. Right out on the very, very tip of that last rock, scaring the crap out of me. But she'd be sitting out there, soaking it all in. All right, see you on down the trail. Wowza. Laurel Top Mountain, or Laurel Top, I think is what I'm on, at the very top. Whew. This is stunning today. It's got to be mind-blowing on a clear day. So many of those mountains out there look like paintings. They don't even look like mountains, and I'm sure with a little detail, they'd look amazing. The other cool thing about up here, all these shrubs, I don't know if you can see this, they've been trimmed at this height to make this view. So again, thank you to the trail maintaining clubs, the Smoky Mountain Trail Club. I'd imagine these bushes must be super high and block this entire view, and they've made it available. Wow. Feels like there's some weather coming in. I didn't read about it. It feels like the temperature's definitely dropping. So I think I'm gonna scoot on down the trail and try to get to Pecks something shelter. That's my goal for the day. I think I've got about 3 more miles to go. 3 or 4 more miles to go. See you on down the trail.